Now, don't fall for some of the other spin coming out of Canberra today. The media was quite excited. Why? Because, well, a peace in our time, a deal between the people who always end up backing each other, Labor and the Greens, when it comes to more social housing.
The Greens will support the Housing Australia Future Fund bill in return for an extra $1 billion for public and community housing.
The federal government's signature housing policy will pass Parliament, with Labor and the Greens brokering a deal today.
After months of negotiation and an extra $1 billion commitment, the Greens have given the legislation the green light.
An extra $1 billion this year on top of $2 billion already promised, bringing the Greens on board.
Now, for the record, I support more money for social housing. Why? Because in just pick your state. Places like New South Wales, the number of people who can't get into public housing is 60,000 people. It's a similar number in Victoria, a little less because of population in Queensland. The reality is that this money will mean more public housing. That is a good thing. But it's not going to change the housing situation when it comes to the supply for normal people who want to rent or normal people who want to buy. In part because this government has already brought in 75%, as we told you last night, of the 900,000 people that are due to come here by 2025. So literally, there's not enough houses for the people that are here now, let alone add 100,000, add 100,000, add 100,000, add 100,000, add 100,000, add 100,000. But the real reason that this deal was done, the reason that the government decided to cough up the extra cash, is due to something very seismic that is happening politically in the inner cities of Australia. The Greens are coming for Labor. Remember, while he might carry on like he's got 95 seats in the Parliament, the Prime Minister currently only has a majority of a couple of seats. If the Greens are able to take a couple of those seats without even the Liberal Party winning an extra seat, and my hope and expectation is that they would be able to show some signs of life at the next election, this government becomes a minority government. And you see, the real reason why Albanese coughed up an extra $1 billion today was not to give the Greens a win, it was to try to put out a fire that is a shift on the hard left of Australia towards the Greens. Newspoll has shown us over months that there has been a steady bleed of votes from the Labor Party, which only just won government. Never forget that. They only just won government. They're down by 3 points, the Greens are up by 3 points. If that's the case, then set your expectations that a couple of Labor seats closer to the cities of Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane may well end up flipping to not the Libs, not the Teals, not an independent, but the Greens. And it doesn't matter just how lefty the Labor MP is. Never forget the dear political soul that was Terry Butler. Very pro same-sex marriage, very pro the environment, so much so that she was the environmental spokesperson for the Labor Party going into the election that they won. She took over from Kevin Rudd as the member for Griffith, where the primary vote for the Labor Party has been going down, 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 until eventually the Greens flip. And with preferences for anyone who is not the Labor Party, guess what ends up happening? The Greens end up winning. My prediction is, if there was an election this weekend, the Albanese government most likely will be returned thanks to Green preferences, but those Green preferences will end up being primary votes in several seats, and most likely we'll be looking at a minority government. And the only thing worse than a Labor government is a minority Labor government. One where the Teals tell everyone what to do, and even worse, where the Greens are the ones who you need to pass anything in the lower house and everything in the upper house. But watch this space. That's why the deal got done.